Here's the 250 highlights. Rough start. You won't see Haiden Deegan up front early. Even worse for these guys, piled up around the outside. Preston Baseflug went for a big ride there. Up front, you had Julian Beaumer and Chance Hymas. Great ride for him.
Yeah, Chance Hymas looking great. He looked good last weekend. He was able to get out front, and then he had a pretty good gap. And now you're starting to see Haiden Deegan, which we didn't see in the beginning, making his way up around Beaumer for third place. And then right now, he was about 10 seconds back behind Chance Hymas, and then he went after Levi. But before that, he had his teammate Joe Shimoda and Julian get into it. I think there was just a racing incident. You go, no, you go. And then they end up hitting it at the stoplight. That's what that was. And then you could see once Haiden caught Levi, he made the pass, and then Levi tried his best to stick on him, but Haiden was on a different level and went after Chance.
Nope, so that was second place. Kitchen yielding to Deegan, and then Deegan loved this outside to inside move.
Yeah, this was earlier in the day, and that's when the outside before it got so blown out. Haiden had some good lines, and Levi mentioned on the podium that he was behind Haiden and he got to see where he was going. But Haiden, just like we saw in Chase Sexton, got in the zone, and he was not to be denied in this moto and got his first victory today.
And he was threatening to take what we thought was a wide open, unpredictable 250 class and make it darn predictable, especially when he got the great start motorsport.com hole shot in Moto 2.
Yeah, he got a hole shot. Considering what he said last weekend and how confident he is with his fitness, you would think that it was going to be a carbon copy. And I haven't seen Haiden make a lot of mistakes. So usually, just like Eli Tomac, when he's in the 450, those guys usually don't make mistakes. So you would think that Hayden's out front. He was able to pull away, and I thought the race was going to be over. Even though Levi started making his way up and he passed his teammate for second place and went after Haiden, Haiden looked pretty confident. Then there was this guy.
Tom Vialle coming to life. That's Ty Masterpool. Rode great early. Was in second, got passed by Kitchen. Vialle gets by him, and then Vialle starts rolling.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the theme of the day, guys, that's coming up. As Chase Sexton mentioned it felt really comfortable, and his bike looked good. Tom looked really good, and this is more like the Tom Vialle that we were planning on seeing after that Supercross championship. So maybe he was right. Maybe it takes him a few races to get in. For him, it took him the fourth race, and then the moment it was right here, Jason.
Yeah, Deegan goes for a big ride while leading, but it's key to mention that Vialle was there putting pressure on.
Yeah, and what we didn't show was Tom Vialle. As you can see him pop through the screen right now, he closed in a lot on Haiden Deegan and slowed that gap down. I think that put a little bit of pressure. If you ask me, you listen to Haiden, he was like, just a mistake, missed the rut. But Tom Vialle, KTM, they got to be stoked to get that first victory of the year.
Yep, that's a big Moto win for Vialle, but he was only fourth in Moto 1, so not in play for the day's overall win. It will go to Deegan with 1-2 scores, and bangs himself in the head saying, that one got away with the crash. Fans love it. Back-to-back wins for Danger Boy.
Yep, and those guys are falling into the danger zone. He had the belt and the way he was riding, so shout out to Tom Vialle. And again, we see how quickly things change in both classes.
Oh yeah.
Deegan got the victory.
Kitchen on the podium back-to-back weeks. Hymas just misses it back-to-back weeks. He started the year with 2 fourth-place finishes. Shimoda, Brown, Swall, Masterpool, Beaumer, and Cochran round out the top 10. Cochran was the fast qualifier today, so signs there from the rookie. And we will send it down to Katie Osborne.
A fourth for Chance Hymas, resulting in fourth in the overall. I said it was a decent day. You came back and said, it was a good day. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was a good day. First moto, pulled the whole shot, and yeah, led everything up until the 3 laps to go. So, I mean, that was a little bit of a bummer, but, I mean, second place, that's best I've gotten, best result for me. And then second moto, made a little bit of a bike change and overshot the goal a little bit. I mean, that's on me. The team was trying, and sometimes those things happen. So just 4th or 5th off the start, and then I think I made my way up to 4th and couldn't do really much from there. But I mean, overall, it's another really good day. Tied for 3rd overall again, and another 4th overall. So, I mean, that was a little bit of a bummer. I was a little bummed on that. Really wanted the podium this weekend, but overall, I mean, this has been the best 2 rounds I've done in my whole career. So, no.
So yeah, back to that decent or good, I'd say, yeah, pretty great actually.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely little things here and there that I want to improve on, but I mean, overall, like, my riding's really good and the team's really good right now. So, yeah, happy with where I'm at, and yeah, great. Just keep building and keep fighting. So.
Congratulations. It was nice. The team was really stoked about where you were. They said day by day for Chance Hymas, he's growing and building.
Well, absolutely, Katie, because the Supercross season, a bit of a disappointment results-wise for him. Had some speed at times, but he's really turned it around early here in Pro Motocross. And that's why he's 4th in points and not too far behind Vialle and Kitchen and Deegan out front. But when you look at these points, is that really the story right now? I mean, there's plenty of time for any one of these guys if they can get on a run. It's more about the riding at this point.
Yeah, I think it's more about the riding, and obviously they didn't let Haiden Deegan run away with this thing. And this is probably the most consistent that I've seen, maybe the top 3 or 4 for the 250 championship. So in a class that usually inconsistent, they're all pretty consistent so far.
That's true. It's really been that same top 4 back-to-back weeks. And if you look at the SMX points, that combines Supercross and Motocross together. The West Riders had one more race, but Kitchen, they had to drop one score for him. So straight up, he has scored the most points. Supercross and Motocross combined, that'll seed the playoffs and the World Championship later in September. Vialle, Shimoda, and RJ Hampshire 6th overall right now. Hopefully we get him back soon after a wrist injury. Would love to be in the fight for this 250 division. You know, we were listening to some preseason comments. I think it was the Thursday press conference, and Tom Vialle kind of oddly said, like, I think it's going to take a few races, you know, for me to really find myself or do well in motocross. And that's almost exactly how it played out.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Tom, I'm sure he was a little disappointed last weekend. And there's a difference between getting into it and obviously having some performances like the first moto today. Like, he was coming up, and then all of a sudden he just went backwards or just kind of stalled out. But it's not surprising to see him win. I think for him, he noticed the moment. Haiden Deegan, it's one thing letting the thing come to you, but it's another when you got one guy winning, and that's what Haiden Deegan was doing. And sometimes you can get warmed up, but then you created this monster in Haiden Deegan, and he would be hard to beat. So Tom was able to knock him off that second motor, or at least be able to put the pressure, saw Haiden go down, and it just tells him and everyone else that as good as this kid is, he can make mistakes. And if they don't have to look too far to see some examples of that at Jet Lawrence in that 450 class. So yeah, it's going to be good to see, and I'm sure Tom will continue that going into next week.
Here's those mistakes you're talking about. Jet Lawrence right here, lap 1.
Lap 1, and yeah, we keep bringing it up because we're still in shock, and we wouldn't think that the day would end up like this, you know, seeing Chase Sexton do his thing. But I was just happy to see you know, Jet Lawrence get up after this. That was a gnarly hit. Just shows how tough these athletes are. And then we just did our Olympics promo, and Haiden wanted to throw it up again for us, get excited for the Olympics this year.
Unbelievable that he was okay and even was able to still win the overall. So yeah, what does it mean going forward? I know that you can easily just say, hey, Deegan's the best guy, he just crashed. But you could see halfway through that second moto that Vialle's like, I can't let this thing get out of control. So if you're Vialle didn't get the overall, or Sexton who did, this has got to be big looking forward. And then I got to think if you're the Lawrence brothers or if you're Deegan, you know that also. And you got to respond to round 3.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I think in the 250 class, it's a lot easier for Haiden to be like, okay, I lost a mistake. I went down, and Tom Vialle got it. I still was overall like, yeah, who knows? He maybe not would have caught me. Maybe I made a mistake.
Yeah.
But in the 450 class, it's definitely opened up the opportunity for these other guys to get into it. And in a class that has been dominated by one person, now having belief, it's nice to be able to see that. And you saw the riding with everybody. So Haiden Deegan and Jet Lawrence, got to bounce back next weekend. Really important for Jet Lawrence, but yeah, I think that's why we go racing. But the field's still going to be there.
Check in with our reporters one more time on what has been an absolutely wild day. Jason Thomas, I don't know where you want to go with this. There's so many angles and ins and outs of everything that happened at Hangtown.
Yeah, you're not kidding. You know, we came into this series thinking that the 250 class was wide open and we knew what we would get in the 450 class. Well, I want to rethink all of that. I think the 250 class feels like Haiden Deegan's kind of the guy, and maybe Tom Vialle can get in there. You know, Levi Kitchen goes into his best racetrack of the year next week in Colorado, but Haiden Deegan's really kind of taken this series by storm somewhat, and now the 450 class is wide open. Jet Lawrence crashes his way out of the lead in Moto 1. Moto 2, he can't get it done, and he sits 24 points down to Chase Sexton, who's now found his confidence back. He looks like the guy from 2022 again. So everything I thought I knew, I'm just throwing out the window. I'm starting from a fresh slate going into Colorado. I couldn't be more happy about it.
Yeah, we celebrate that. Katie?
Yeah, that was a really good interpretation of everything, JT. And of course, you had said earlier, you just never know what you're going to get out of this kind of racing. And that's exactly what happened ultimately. I think one of the most interesting things as we kind of look ahead to Colorado is that one guy who did extremely well last year with a 4 and a 2 is Aaron Plessinger, finishing second overall. Are we going to be on the Aaron Plessinger train? Are we going to see him get his first moto win? Oh, you know what? He's saying, heck, yes, we are. That's what he's saying from back there, right on, Cowboy. And, of course, that's the energy and excitement, especially knowing when you're going to a good track like he is next weekend for himself. We'll see if he'll be able to get his first moto win. It'll be fun to see.
Hi, folks. Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.